Hi, everyone. I'm Canon Georgette Forney, President of Anglicans for Life. Today, I am sharing a devotion addressing the Feast of Holy Innocents, which in the liturgical calendar is observed on December 28th, but often gets lost amid Christmas and New Year celebrations. This often overlooked holy day is a critical component of the Christmas narrative and is only found in Matthew's Gospel. In chapter 2, Matthew explains that Jesus, an innocent baby to the casual observer, has been born, but for King Herod, the birth of this child constitutes a direct threat to him and his kingdom. King Herod calls the Magi, also known as the wise men, to search for the child so he too can go and worship him. The wise men follow the star, find baby Jesus, worship him, and give him their gifts. But next we're told that God warns the Magi in a dream not to return to King Herod, thereby preventing the king from finding baby Jesus. The story picks up in verse 16 when Herod gets mad as he realized the wise men aren't coming back, and he is so threatened by this baby Jesus that he decrees that all the male children in the region who are 2 years old and younger have to be found and killed to protect his kingdom. King Herod chose the age of 2 as scripture describes, quote, in accordance with the time he had learned from the Magi, end quote. Since the 6th century, the church has honored the death of these children with a holy day, a time to observe a sacred event in the history of our redemption. Tradition refers to the children as holy innocents and regards them as the first martyrs of Christ, or for Christ, I should say, maybe. Throughout history, Christian artists have depicted the pain and violence experienced by the mothers as their children are taken from their arms. These depictions are in paintings and poetry and sculpture. Why was King Herod so threatened by the birth of a baby that he ordered all the male children, who were valued above females in the culture, to be killed? Think about it. He was wiping out a potential battalion that could serve in future battles for his army. But fast forward 2,000 years, and we see that our culture has adopted a similar philosophy about life as King Herod the Great. Abortion is now an acceptable way to address a pregnancy that threatens the status quo. I remember as a 16-year-old when I found out I was pregnant, my first thought was that the baby would ruin my life. Who would want a girl that had a baby? Would anybody want to marry me? My future felt very threatened by the innocent baby in my womb. Like King Herod, I wasn't thinking about the long-term consequences of my decision. I was only thinking about protecting the kingdom of me. In addition to the babies being victims in both circumstances, let's acknowledge the grief and pain felt by the mothers of the holy innocents, and similarly, those who have had abortions. Matthew quotes the prophet Jeremiah in verse 18 with words that recognize the mother's mourning because our babies are no more. Comfort and compassion were needed then and are needed now. The Feast of Holy Innocents is the perfect day for the church to address the pain of the many people in the pews who have had abortions and need to acknowledge our children are no more. The number of women and men who are living with the hidden grief of abortion is in the millions. Ironically, it is in knowing the one who was born on Christmas, Jesus, that forgiveness and redemption can be found for the sin of murder, and every other sin too. If only King Herod and so many of us who have had abortions had looked at each life as a gift from God instead of something that threatened our existence. May this holy day inspire you to pray for all those who are grieving the loss of our innocent ones. Thank you.